Hey everybody, it's Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter. You're joining me on February 3rd, Monday, February 3rd, 7 p.m. Pacific time from my craft room in Eastsook, Vancouver Island, Canada. Just going to adjust this camera. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Most of you will know that. And tonight we're going to make a very bright and cheerful card with some yellows. Now I did a poll on Sunday asking people if they wanted yellow or pink. And off the bat, yellow was a clear winner, but by the end, I actually had to count. And I think there's 185 comments on that poll. And yellow still came out ahead, but not by a whole lot. So if you were team pink, then I really hope you've cut all your pieces in pink, because you should. And then if you do create this project in pink, then post a picture and let me see what you come up with, because it will be just as beautiful in pink as it will be in yellow. All right, I'm going to flip the camera around, try to focus my zoom. So close your eyes because this is always bumpy. All right, so let me see if I can focus this. Oh my gosh, hang on. What did I do? That's not right. I gotta fix it. Let's see. All right, my bad. Good enough. Okay, that'll do. So before I forget, Celebration is on for the rest of this month. So it's just January, February. If you don't know what Celebration is, it is the biggest sale of the year for Stampin' Up. So short story is you earn free products when you shop. So with every $75 or $150, you get to pick something out of this brochure. And as of tomorrow, there's going to be some new things added to the Celebration site. So I think I've popped a link right in the comments of this video. I'm not sure if it worked. So I tried to put a link in before I started the video. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not. I don't know. So if it doesn't pop up, then I'll go back in and I'll pop it up. If anybody sees that link, let me know. Hello, Carissa. Carissa, it is late. It is past your bedtime. Hello, Jackie. Hello, Janice. Yes, Carissa, Celebration is evil because it encourages us to spend. And I don't need any more help adding to cart because I'm really, really good at adding to cart. So, let's see. For tonight's project, I am going to use some Stampin' Write markers. Now, I have two sets of these. They come in color families. I have brights and I have another pack of assorted when they changed the colors last year. I can't remember. Anyway, I never use them because I love my Stampin' blends so much that I just never go for the Stampin' Writes. So I thought when I made my sample card, I thought I'd give it a try because the joining special until the end of the month happens to include two sets of Stampin' Write markers, and I think they're about $50 each. I could be wrong. $50 for a set of 10, and you get a whole color family. So you get to pick two sets of the color families of your choice, plus it comes with a stamp set that's designed for the Stampin' Write markers. So it's a pretty sweet deal. If, in my opinion, I think it's a pretty good deal. So I played around with the markers and I will give them a Kate rating of 8 out of 10. So I don't love them as much as my blends, but they're still a high rating in my opinion because they actually work better than I was expecting them to, and they're much cheaper than blends. So it's a really economical choice if you need some coloring tools and you haven't collected all the shades in your blends. So blends I love for blending colors together. They come in a 2-pack of the same shade, but they're expensive, right? These are not so expensive. Plus, if you join, you get 2 packs for free, which is pretty sweet. So maybe the link popped up, maybe it didn't, but if it doesn't, I'll go back in and I'll pop it in so you can see what's all included with Celebration when you're if you shop and all the things you can get. All right, hello Gail, hello Kathy. Now tonight I'm going to use the Memorable Blooms bundle. I heard from a reliable source today, and I haven't checked on the website, but I heard this might be out of stock and will be restocked mid-February. Apparently there's some sort of shortage happening with the red cling stamps. So anyway, if it's out of stock, it's going to be back in stock soon. I really like I don't love mounting the red cling stamps, to be honest, but I love how beautifully they stamp. So I have a little trick for mounting these. It's in one of my reels. I'll have to pin it, so I'll show you another time because I don't have any to mount. But if you have trouble mounting your red cling stamps, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to put them together when they come. So they come in the stamp set, but they're not put together. They're in this big sheet of rubber. I don't have it. So it's got a big sheet of rubber. You pop them out. It's got stickers. You put the stickers on the back, these stickers, and they're kind of a pain in the butt to line up. So if you struggle with lining up your cling stamps, send me a message and I will send you the link to the reel I made of how I do it, which I think is the easiest way, at least for me. All right, I think I've talked a lot. I need this still. So let's get started. If you watched, I went on live unannounced on Sunday. So if you're watching that, I had my measurements written down on the side, and I wrote down the measurements for the card base wrong. I know I do that all the time. I'm sorry. So if you're watching and you were wondering what the heck I was talking about, it's because I'm in menopause and my brain doesn't work. That's my excuse. So anyway, card base. I'm going to give you the right measurements. This card base is 5.5 by 8.5, and it is scored at 4.25 on the long side, which is 8.5. I think I said it was 11 on Sunday, at least in the written directions. I have a piece of Daffodil Delight. I didn't measure this. This is just for some die cutting. So I didn't measure it, but it is 4.75 by 4, and I won't need all of that for the die cut. I have got a piece of basic white for stamping. I've got basic white for the inside. This is 4 inches by 5.25. And then I have got a piece of the yellow Blooms Impression. I can never remember the name of this designer series paper. Oh man, it's Bloom something. If somebody knows, put it in the comments. I can never remember. It's Blooms something, I think. Okay. All right. I have it somewhere. Anyway, one of you will remember. I just know it. So this I'm going to die cut, and this I'm going to die cut. So let's do that first. I'm going to show you the dies. So for the designer series paper, I am going to use this die, and I am going to cut out the middle, just about the middle. I'm going to probably have it a little bit more up at the top and more room at the bottom, but not by much. So I'm going to die cut that out with this die, and then with the Daffodil Delight, I'm going to use the same die, and then this intricate little die. I don't know if you can see that, if it's focused or not, but this goes right in the middle. And it took me a while to figure this out because I thought this was going to cut out this shape, but it doesn't. It doesn't cut the whole shape out. So you need this nesting die if you want to cut this whole shape out. So I'm going to nest these together and cut out that Daffodil Delight. So I've already gone ahead and done that because if I use my Stampin' cut machine, it's going to shake the table. And hello, Leanne. Hello, J. Marie. Thank you, Bloom Impressions. My goodness. All right, so this is what it looks like after I've cut it out of the Bloom Impressions Designer Series paper. Thank you, J. Marie. And then this is what the Daffodil Delight looks like after I've nested this the two dies together and run that through the machine. So that's that. If you were wondering how to put them together, they need to nest if you want to cut this piece out. So ask me how I figured that out. It took me a while. I thought I was doing something wrong. I'm not proud of it. Sometimes I'm not so smart. Oh, Leanne, you're not kidding. You know, some of these stamps and the dies, I have no idea what they are for. We do need a little cheat sheet that comes with our stamp set so we know what's what. All right, now this one I am going to pop up with some dimensionals right on the front of my card base. So the sides are going to be a little skinny, so you can either cut your dimensionals in half or the minis should work. I happen to have both because I have a love affair with dimensionals. I love them. I use far too many. Hello, Kathy from Chilliwack. Do you have snow in Chilliwack? We still have snow on the island. I actually worked from home today. I was supposed to go in. I was supposed to send Kai to school too, and the buses were running, but I'm such a chicken when it comes to snow on the island and ice that I made the executive decision to work from home, and I let Kai have a snow day, and I'm so glad I did because I heard there was lots of accidents with the icy road conditions, and I don't want any of that. None of it. So I'm very lucky because I can work from home in a pinch. All right. All right, Kathy, when you started with Stampin' Up! In 2003, the stamps came with wooden blocks. And you had to cut the stamps out and put them on the blocks? All right, I'm not going to complain anymore about mounting stamps. Oh man. Okay, I almost forgot. Before I mount this, I wanted to add some ribbon. Oh my goodness. I'm going to add a little bit of Daffodil Delight. That was a close call. I almost added this. It would be pretty nice without the ribbon too. Janice, yes, the mini dimensionals are the same thickness as regular dimensionals. But there's adhesive strips that you can buy that are really handy for shaker cards, and they are not the same height, which is a pain in the butt. So if you are doing anything with a shaker card and you are using the adhesive strips and dimensionals, you have to double up your dimensionals to be the same height as the adhesive strips. Isn't that tricky? I wish that wasn't the way it was. Everything should be the same height. It should be uniform. All right, so I'm going to add some Daffodil Delight. I've just put down some tear and tape. I'm going to fold it over. And I think I want it just a smidge lower. Now it's extra sticky because I jumped the gun and I put my dimensionals on. It's fine. It's fine. I can do this. That's too high. So what I like about tear and tape when I'm putting ribbon on is that it's pretty easy to pull the ribbon up if you need to just adjust it slightly. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to cut this off. Oh my gosh, everything's sticking. All right. Oh, Carissa, yes, a job where you can work from home. It's not terrible. But it wasn't always the case for me. When I was 911 dispatch, I didn't have that option. And in bad weather, it was actually really important for me to get to work. So I used to get really stressed out about bad weather. And because when you're in an emergency dispatch center, that's your job. People need you because stuff's happening. So I used to get up if I knew snow was coming, because when we lived in Nanaimo when I did 911 dispatch. So I would get up in the middle of the night and snow blow or shovel just to make sure I could get to work at 6 in the morning, relieve my coworkers who had worked all night. Yeah, anyway, so I'm really glad I don't, as much as I loved 911 dispatching, I'm quite glad I don't do that anymore. And I have the flexibility to work from home so I don't have to get stressed out about snow days. All right, There we go. So I wrapped some linen thread around the front of this designer series paper and my Daffodil Delight. Now I'm going to just try to line this up fairly evenly. There we go. All right, so card front looks like this. And then, Susan, you are in Edmonton and it is cold there, minus 27 on the wind chill. Yeah, that's chilly. I am actually an island transplant. I came from Alberta. I lived in Alberta until I was just about 30. I think my husband and I were not quite 30 when we moved to Vancouver Island. So this is a tiny little delicate die. So I've got my fine tip glue bottle. My friend Tanya, the Canadian stamper, gave this to me, and I know she bought a whole bunch of these little refillable glue bottles off Amazon, and they are so handy for fine detail. So I'm just putting little dots down because I don't need a lot, and then wherever I have a little bit of space in this tiny little, in this really delicate die, I'm just going to add some glue. I need my reading glasses for this. This is serious business. Anyway, so I grew up in Alberta and in a little town called Hanna. And then when I went to college, I went to Red Deer, and then I stayed in Red Deer, and that's where I met my husband. And then before we got married, we moved to Vancouver Island. And at the time, I was lucky because Canada was short for 911 dispatchers. So if you were a 911 dispatcher, you could probably work anywhere in Canada at the time. I'm not sure if it's still like that or not, because I'm out of the game, friends. All right, so I'm adding tiny little glue dots, not too much, just wherever this delicate little die has a little bit of space. All right, I think I got it. Now, to flip this over without getting glue all over my fingers, I am going to fit this right in that die cut space, in the negative space. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to pop that in and then just gently push down on the little delicate die cuts, and then that glue is going to stick down. And I employ my handy take your pick tool to make sure everything is popped up on my designer series paper. There we go. There is the front of the card. Yes, Krista, you're right. You do have to be bilingual, which I am not. I mean, I wish I was. I really liked French in high school, but you know, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. Susan, your daughter lives in St. Albert. All right, well, I bet it's minus 27 in St. Albert because that's just a hop, skip, and a jump from Edmonton. Isn't it just a suburb? All right, and Susan, you're in Michigan. Do you have cold weather in Michigan? All right, rural Manitoba. Jennifer says minus 28, but feels like minus 40. That is darn cold. Very cold. All right, I digress. I'm going to get that out of the way now. A little bit of stamping and coloring. So I've just got my basic black. I have got a piece of the Daffodil Delight from the Brights collection in the annual catalog. I think it's just called Brights Designer Series paper. I think that's literally it. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment on that. And then I'm just going to stamp some flowers on the scrap piece of paper because I'm going to die cut those out. And then for the inside, I'm going to stamp some flowers in the bottom right corner because that's what I do. I don't want a naked card. I had to wipe off this black ink because I'm going to get it everywhere. Who am I kidding? I'm going to get ink somewhere. Like, that's a guarantee. Somewhere there will be an ink smudge. All right, now from the same stamp set, I'm just going to stamp some of the greenery, and I'm going to do this one twice. And there we go. And then before I put this ink away. I keep checking my fingers because I'm so paranoid. I'm going to stamp ink on myself and then I'm going to transfer it to the card. All right, I'm just going to pop this there. There we go. That's it for stamping. Now, let's do a little coloring with the Stampin' Write markers. So if you are a blends lover like myself, don't be dissuaded because they're actually a lot nicer. I need my reading glasses again. Goodness. Okay. They're a lot nicer than I realized. So for the coloring, I'm just going to use the bullet tip. Now, if you wanted to add some shading, it's not the same as blends because blends are meant for blending and adding color. So what you can do is either use 2 different shades of whatever your color is, or wherever you want it to be a little bit darker, just go over it a second time. But you just want to give it a second to dry because if that paper gets too wet, then it's going to fray. So I'm just using the lemon lime twist, the color in the leaves, and then I will add a little bit of shading to the leaves just by picking one spot and going over it a couple more times with the marker, and that's going to give you that look like you shaded it. I'll hold that up so you don't know if you'd be able to tell or not. Okay, so then alternatively, if you don't want to color over and risk fraying your paper, then use 2 shades of the same color family. So I've got Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to shade in the flowers where the petals are turned over a little bit, and I'm going to make that darker with the Daffodil Delight. And then I'll go over the rest of the petals with Lemon Lolly, and then that will give you that look like you've shaded them as well. All right, Nikki, last weekend you went for a walk at Whip and Spit, +10, jeans and a hoodie, and today, snow. Yeah, I know. I know. Are you working from home still? I hope you are. I really hope you are, because I certainly wouldn't be driving over the Malahat when it's this crappy out. All right, so now I'm going to do the bigger parts of the petals in Lemon Lolly. At least I think I grabbed Lemon Lolly. Yes, I did. I don't know why I ignored these markers for so long. There's nothing wrong with them. I'm just a blend snob, I guess. Oh, I missed a little leaf. I'll have to go back over that. So I'm just using the brush tip for the bigger leaves, or petals, sorry. And then I was using the bullet tip on these markers for the smaller spaces. Did I mention that? If you do not have any Stampin' Write markers or blends, they are double-sided, so you'll have a bullet tip, which, oh my gosh, I gotta take my reading glasses off, which is for small work. Is my camera even focusing? It's like my camera's like my eyes, just can't focus. And then the opposite side is the brush tip. All right, now just gotta finish this one little leaf. So I won't punish you all and make you watch me color the rest of these images in. So I went ahead after I finished work today and I stamped them and I die cut them. So here they are, colored and die cut. So what I want to do is, get that out of the way, I'm going to curve these around the side of my little die cut. But this leaf, it doesn't point the direction that I want, so I might have to trim it. We'll see. Oh, that'll be okay. So I'm gonna start by gluing the flower to the greenery, and then I'm just going to pop it up on the card front. Oops. Hello, Cherry Lane Stampin'. I bet your weather is chilly too. All right, so there's that, and then I'm going to add this one Let's see, do I need to chop it? No, I don't need to chop it. I'm just going to add some glue to it. I don't really need to be using my fine tip glue bottle anymore. All right, so I'm just going to glue that down and make it curve a little bit. So it looks like so. And then I'm going to partially pop this up and partially glue it down. All right, dimensionals. So part of this is going to have some dimensionals. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the top so it's going to stick down to the designer series paper. It keeps getting, I needed more dimensionals. I've got sag. It's sagging. You guys know how much I hate sag. That's why I add so many dimensionals to my projects. All right. What am I doing? Okay. Now, this is going to go right here. And then I just need to add a sentiment and a little bit of embellishments, and of course, the inside of the card, which I might as well do right now. Cherry Lane, -29. Chilly. All right, friends, you are going to laugh at me, but I'm going to tell you how cold it was on Vancouver Island today, at least in East at the coldest part of the day. -2. -2. But there was a wind chill, so it felt like -7. And don't forget, it's a damp cold out here. It's not dry. But -2 felt pretty chilly, but anyway, how quickly I climatized to island living after spending 29 years in Alberta. So I do miss Alberta though. No complaints. It's a beautiful, beautiful province. All right. All right, let's see. Inside's done. Oh, yes. I need my reading glasses again. This is life now. So I am going to, I see other demonstrators cut out their sentiments and I think, oh, that's too fussy. I can't do that. But I started doing it lately. I've done it for a few cards and I'm not hating it. So I don't know. Let me know. What do you guys think? Do you like cutting out your sentiments, or do you prefer to have like a banner or a die cut specific for your sentiments? So this is new to me. Like, I don't usually do this, but I'm not hating it lately. So I'm just fussy cutting around the letters, and it doesn't take too long, but that's because I've been practicing. Maybe that's why I didn't like it so much when I started creating cards, because I wasn't very good at it, or at least I thought it needed to be perfect, and our cards really don't need to be perfect. All right, reading glasses off. Banner, Leanne says banner. Cherry Lane, you've been fussy cutting too? All right, now this I'm going to pop up with my mini dimensionals just above the twine, and then I may tie a bow. We'll see. 7:30, I don't know. Chris is staying up late past her bedtime. Maybe there's no time for a bow. I'm just kidding. There's always time for a bow, but I might not. I don't know. I haven't decided. All right, so I just got 2 dimensionals on the top because the word thoughtfulness is going to hover right over top of my linen thread and ribbon. And I don't stick dimensionals on my ribbon. I just don't. That's just a me thing. All right, there we go. So now I could add a little bow because I have this extra piece of Daffodil Delight satin ribbon, but that's just going to depend if I can actually tie this tiny little bow with my fat fingers tonight. Oh, yes I can. All right, it's getting a bow. I'm bowing it up, Carissa. Look at me go. Okay, so there will be a bow. I'm going to glue that down right about there, and then I'll trim the edges. And then I'm also going to add, where are my little magic bees? Some of these tiny bee trinkets. So I'm going to show you this card before I add the bow and the bees, because once I do that, I'm going to weight it down so the glue sets. Oh, look it. I only have a few little tiny bees left. I like them. They're so cute. All right, so you can use glue dots, but I do not give the glue dots a very high rating. I don't think they last, so I don't love them. Sorry if you love your glue dots, but I don't love them. I mean, they're handy and convenient, but I don't think they stick. So I'm going to use Tombow. I'm just going to put a little dot of glue where I think a bee is going to look pretty. And of course I need 3 bees because that's how I roll. And then the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool does a pretty good job at picking these bees up and letting me place them exactly where I want them. Oops. This needs a little adjustment. So if I put too much glue down, then and it kind of squishes out the sides, then I just use the pokey end of my Take Your Pick tool and I try to remove as much of that glue as I can. Otherwise it's going to dry clear, so it's not a big deal. Now for the bow, I'm going to put that right above the linen thread with another little dot of glue. Stick that there, and then once it's dry, I'll go back in and I will trim that. So now I need to weight down my beads. So I'm going to grab all my blocks and the bow. And I'm going to leave this for, I don't know, probably about 10 minutes. And then the glue will, why do I keep trying to put the wrong lids on things tonight? Then the glue's going to dry, everything's going to stick, and that's it. Leanne, you've been told that too. They don't last. I know, it's a ripoff, and they're not cheap. It's 10 bucks for a roll of glue dots. Anyways, maybe there's a crafting reason for them. I don't use them. I have some, but I don't love them. All right, so here was the sample that I made, and this is just a little bit opposite. So I used Daffodil Delight for the front of the card, and then the designer series paper is the intricate little die cut, but it's the same, but different. And then I added one more flower to the inside, and these again, they're just colored with the Stampin' Right markers. How easy is that? All right, I'm flipping the camera around. All right, thanks for tuning in. Carissa, thanks for staying up late. That's crazy. Anyway, yeah, thanks for tuning in tonight. I will be back live on Thursday night with the first project in the Terrific Toadstools card class at home. So that's going to be the focus for the February card class at home. It's a free class every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm starting out with this pop-up box, not with dinosaurs, obviously. It will be with the Terrific Toadstools. And I'll give you a sneak peek. So it's going to be these colors. So Melon Mambo and the fun, colorful designer series paper from the Celebration pack. I can't remember what it's called. No surprise there. I can't remember anything lately. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do on Thursday. So I've got the box ready to decorate, and I will pop the measurements in somewhere on my Facebook page Wednesday night. So if you're going to craft along with me, you can prep your pieces and be ready to go. If you don't have the Terrific Toadstools, then use whatever you have in your stash. Anything that you can die cut out, fussy cut out, that's going to create a busy little scene. So flowers even, you can make a box full of flowers. That'll be really pretty. Janice, we can make our own glue dots. Actually, that's a really good point. I'm going to show you something. So I stamped the mushroom cap for the Terrific Toadstools, And I did actually a bunch of pieces of stem too, and I didn't punch these out. I fussy cut them out because the punch actually cuts. There's no white space when you use the punch. Whoops, I got this stuck to me. So I fussy cut this out, and then, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I took my Tombow and I made a whole bunch of little dots of this Tombow glue. And this has been sitting for 24 hours. So this is a perfect little mask for when you want to mask something. You can stick it over your stamped image, and it's just tacky enough that it's not going to slide around, and then you can stamp around it, and then you just gently pop it off. So that, thank you for mentioning that, Janice, because that's perfect for me to show you these little glue dots that I made with the Tombow. So I'm not sure if that's what you were thinking, but if you like masking, man, I had half my face in the camera. That was weird. Anyway, if you like to mask, then this is really handy. So I'm going to let these sit out another day because they're still a little bit more tacky than I like, and I don't want to rip the paper. So I'm going to give them another day, and then they're just going to go right in my stamp case. I'm going to stick them to the inside of my stamp case, and I'm going to have masks for the terrific toadstools. So I'll probably do something. I'll do the masking technique for one of the cards, not this Thursday and not next Thursday, but maybe the third Thursday, because I don't have a plan for that. All right, so that's what's coming this week on Thursday. And then I was thinking about adding another tutorial each week, at least for a little while, for beginners. I've had a lot of people reach out and they're just getting into card making. So I thought maybe some beginner tutorials might be a good fit. I just don't know when I'm going to fit them in. Sometime on the weekend. I don't know when, but I'll do a poll and you guys can tell me what you think the best time would be. Definitely not bedtime for you, Chris. I'll do something in the morning so it's not super late for you all the way on the East Coast. All right, that's it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you make tonight's project, then let me see it. I love seeing what you come up with. And if you're catching me on a replay, say hello, tell me where you're from. I will put the measurements photo in the comments of the video if you're watching on Facebook. So you'll find the measurements photo right in the comments of this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to find the measurements in the video description. All right, that's it. Everybody have a really good night, and I'll see you on Thursday.